Good day, good evening, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is our second part of our three series of podcasts with, or interviews if you want to say, with Shiva Kailash Shambho. Shiva Kailash Shambho. Uh, Good time of the day. um,
Thank you very much.
how are you doing today?
Excellent. Thank you for inviting me to the show.
Thank you very much for coming. So, uh, yeah, what we are what we finished our previous podcast that I still didn't upload because of some tech issues, but I will, of course, because we need to go with the series. So we finished on the thing that you uh, actually went to the Nepal. You got to the Nepal, so let me please ask you about this first impression. Where did you uh, landed and all this?
Well, like I said, thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to talk. So, Nepal, first impressions of Nepal were a very blue place. I landed in Kathmandu, of course, in the Kathmandu airport. I was a little bit worried landing there because the poor reputation that that airport has for flight safety. But we landed safely, and I was driving through the city to my Airbnb. I spontaneously and randomly met this man that was in charge of the taxi services right in the airport. He was paid by the airport, and he said, "Oh, stop! You want a taxi?" And I started talking to him, and I realized he speaks English quite well. And then he noticed that I was a Sadhguru's devotee. My picture fell out of my passport of Sadhguru, and he said, "Oh, wow!" And his whole demeanor changed, and I knew, okay, this is a trustworthy man. And he said, "I have an Airbnb. You should come with me." And I said, "Okay, let's do it. I have no other better place to go." And before I actually landed in the airport, and before I even arrived in Nepal, I had a vision of where geographically I'm going to be staying in Nepal. I didn't know the land, I didn't know the city, but I knew I was going to be somewhere in the northwest, somewhere in this little area. And lo and behold, this gentleman drove me exactly towards that location. And I also knew, I felt, I could see that, okay, the future, what if the future holds for me is I'm going to be next to the woods or next to the mountains or next to the trees. And that's exactly right. All three were correct. I was away from the city, away from the pollution, away from the noise, roughly speaking, and right next to the jungle. So we were driving to the Airbnb, and the overwhelming presence of the blue throat chakra energy was felt. And I knew this before also coming to Nepal, that I could see Nepal was a very wild place. People didn't have any kind of restrictions or energy blockages within them, meaning they were wild, they were carefree, and they were protected by this little hub of land that they call Nepal, which India wasn't like that. India was more, at least it wasn't as weird as Nepal was, because the third chakra requires a lot of safety and a lot of energy to work with, and it requires many things, lots of maintenance. So that those conditions haven't met in Nepal. And people dressed however they dressed, and the overwhelming energy was there. I felt strongly that it was due to the Pashupatinath temple, which has been there for thousands of years, maybe the oldest Shiva temple in recorded history. And so that gave that whole city of Kathmandu this blue, electric blue aura, which I found irresistible. I'm not sure if that's the way all cities are in Nepal. I highly doubt it. I think it's just Nepal that has this. And so this strengthened my ability to use this energy, to work with this energy, and to be comfortable, even dressed how I am dressed, wearing skulls around me, talking publicly on YouTube. Hello, out there. So that was a big benefit. And I stayed in Kathmandu in the gentleman's hostel that he kindly provided me for the entire time. I didn't have to move. It was perfect accommodation. I ate 2 times a day. They fed me the most delicious vegan meals possible. I ate a variety of vegetables. It made me realize how important eating vegetables is. The variety of vegetables. Vegetables I ate I've never had before. For example, bamboo shoot. Those two words really don't go together. And also bamboo, or use some sort of, panda. No, it's just little thin strips of bamboo. You cook it. When you eat it, it's like, oh my God, such strength and such power comes from this plant. It's just a plant, a vegetable that grows out of the ground. I knew if I ate this, I would be so strong. And it was correct. I also got very fat there, nice and chubby. I was a nice, chubby guy because they fed me so well. I ate so much rice, vegetables, curries, lentil soups, everything. And I kept on telling the manager, please give me more food. And then he would give me more food and more food. And then some days, so much food would come. And I was so full from the days before, I was thinking, oh man. But I did my best to eat it all without wasting anything. And I got very fat in return.
So you weren't even fasting or anything. You were just chugging all the food.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I don't like fasting. It's no such thing for me.
Really, you don't fast?
No.
Okay, that's interesting point. We should discuss it somewhere in the future.
Well, I eat well. I don't like withholding food for myself. I tried it. I thought it was spiritual. Oh, I should fast. Nah, I hate it. I don't think there's many uses to it, many benefits. If you're a certain type of person and you feel that it'll burn away your impurities, your karma, okay, do it. For me, I can't do it. I want to eat, and it would be punishment for me if I didn't eat. So I want to become fat.
So are you still in that conditions, or did you come a
Well,
little thinner?
I became a little thinner, thankfully, I guess. Lifting weights, so that helps.
Hmm. And you're still eating 2 times a day.
I'm eating much more,
Uh huh.
uh, but not maybe as much volume as of food as I did back then.
Okay, okay, got it. So I'm really curious about I guess the most popular place in Kathmandu, in the community of Isha Foundation. Uh, I mean, I think so. Maybe it's not, but I think so. The Linga Bhairavi temple. So please tell us about it. How did you perceive it, and maybe tell us your experience with Krishna Rohan, because I know that you met him also. So please tell us about it.
Yeah, so I did a podcast or an interview with Krishna Rohan Samavedam, and just a few hours ago, actually. So it'll be publicly available in the next day or two. And before I came to Nepal, shout out to you, by the way, Krishna or Rohan, very nice guy. Cherish him a lot. Before I came to Kathmandu, I knew that this place was there. I watched the consecrations by Sadhguru consecrating the Linga Bhairavi temple, and it was so nice to see. And I knew that if I go to Nepal or if I ever go to this place, I would just spend my entire day there. And that's exactly what I did. When I first arrived there, that's probably one of the first things that I did is to go to this temple. When I went there, it's like you're driving, such chaos, dust flying around, so much traffic. Houses built, it feels like they're on top of each other. And then you arrive in this little corner right in the busiest road on the highway. You just go a little bit like this, you park your car, and then it's very inconspicuous looking, but it's there, Linga Bhairavi Temple, Nepal. You walk inside. The moment that you walk inside, it's like serene. Everything just becomes calm and quiet. The loudness disappears. And the energy feels like you're walking into heaven. It feels so nice, so juicy. You can almost taste it like you're walking in a fruit smoothie or in a fruit juice drink. You could just start tasting it. And it's in the land, it's in the quality of the rocks that are surrounding it, the pebbles that are paved on the walk from the road to the Linga Bhairavi temple. The pebbles have imbibed this. And you can't wear shoes. You always have to take your shoes off before you enter the temple or before you even walk to the temple. So you're walking on this carpet and the tiny rocks are pressing up against your feet and you can feel the energy. The every single rock has imbibed this quality. It's just so phenomenal and fantastic. What quality has imbibed? Well, the four lower chakras, or the 3.5 chakras that Sadhguru consecrated the Linga Bhairavi Devi with. The base chakra, the Swadhisthana, the maintenance center, Manipuraka, and Anahata, or half of the heart chakra. So it's the juice of life. It's the flavoring of life and of existence. It's so nice. It's so pleasant. It's so rewarding. At the end of my time in Nepal, I stayed there for 30 days or 33 days. I went to the temple 3 hours a day for 33 days. That was the intention that I had, and I stuck to it. Roughly speaking, that's I managed to accomplish that and complete that. I felt so sad after leaving because I know the value of this, I know the power of this, and how come my home isn't like this? How come my physical space isn't like this? It made me feel so sad that I'm leaving this behind and I'll never experience this again in the same way for a long time to come, probably for the next few years at least. And it made me so upset. Like, this is so valuable. It's an extremely valuable place. The entire planet should be like this. Every single human habitation should be like this. It can't be any other way. And if you touch this, if you perceive this properly, and if you feel this, you will work towards this, as I'm working towards this now. So, very important that we get this done. It's like, you're living without food, and you have to go and scrounge some garbage off the floor, find some little nuts in the grass or whatever little things you pick. So painful, so traumatizing. But then one day you just stumbled upon someone's house and they have a fridge, fully packed fridge, fruits on the table, grains, legumes, nuts. I mean, everything possible, imagining every single possible thing you can imagine. And whatever you feel like eating, you just go in the pantry and eat it. And that's phenomenal. It's like that example times 10 because the energy, spiritual energy, is more rewarding than food. So, very important that we get this done as a human race and a human species to consecrate the planet, consecrate our human civilization. And like I said, the first time I came there, it was like a heaven. I sat in front of the Linga Bhairavi. The energy was so intense, so strong. I could feel that my body was changing into this quality. It's becoming vibrant, awakened, and alive. And I couldn't get enough of it. My body was very tired, very painful to sit there, of course, 3 hours. But I would sit there for longer, even if I could. And I did. Some days I sat for 4 hours or longer. And wow, it made me feel so much more gratitude to Sadhguru for making something like this happen. And the competence that you need to make this happen, so phenomenal. I was examining it every single place that I could think, how is this happening? How did this happen? How did he make this happen? What's inside of this? What goes on to making this happen? What is the science behind this? And the most important thing that goes on to a temple like this, 80% of the work is solidified mercury. Without solidified mercury, it would not be as powerful and as vibrant as it wouldn't be the same at all. The closest thing that you could probably come to is like granite or some kind of stone, but it wouldn't work the same way. So mercury holds the energy within itself for a very long time, plus it reverberates the energy very strongly. Rocks don't have that capability of reverberating powerfully in the same way that metal does. So yeah, it's like this is a being, this is a deity, it's a feminine goddess. And also one thing that's also potent with this temple that's different from the temple in Coimbatore in South India is that this temple has the third eye activated. And it makes a kind of intensity, a burning intensity, which I liked very much. Very positive quality. The temple in South India doesn't have this. And so not you probably, I mean, me personally, I wouldn't want to stay there for too long, or I can't really say such things. But it's a different and a unique quality, and it's much better that it has its third eye energy. It's a burning kind of quality. So yeah, sat there for 3 hours a day for 33 days. Got the benefits. Wanted to soak in as much as I could into my body before I left that place fully.
That's that's just fantastic. Did your legs go numb while you were sitting there, or did you did you sit there in breaks like for 1 hour or something like this? Because that's the problem I'm experiencing with sitting too long. That's the only problem.
Yeah, so before my spiritual practice involved me not moving my body. I would sit for an hour or longer with the intention I'm not going to move. And that's extremely valuable and beneficial. I don't need to do that now. I don't do that now. So when I was sitting there for 2, 3 hours, I would take breaks. When I
Mm-hmm.
was with Rohan, Krishna Rohan, we would sit for 1 hour. We would go outside for maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, and then we would go back and we would do this again. But when I was sitting by myself, I would pretty much sit for the full 3 hours,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I would change my posture. So after 20 minutes, I would stretch my legs a little bit and then sit back cross-legged.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Uh, I know that you received prasadam there. Can you please tell us about it? Because I know that you were like like a little child when you first tried it.
Yeah, so there are things that you can buy to give to the Devi as a worship. And so I did that a few times, and they had sweets inside. One sweet was like chocolate, or it was like sweet, it was no big deal. But another sweet, I don't know what it was called. Someone in the comment section mentioned it, but I have no way of recalling.
Tamarind.
That sounds accurate. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's a kind of insanely sour, tingy, spicy deliciousness. So the only way I could describe it, you eat it, it's like, oh my God, your mouth starts to, it's not a burning like you're eating a pepper, it's not painful, but it's not comfortable. You're gonna move around, but it tastes so good. And it's like, wow, it's an experience. Oh my God, it's so, just thinking about it, I want to have some more of it. Maybe you eat like one of these a day or one of them a week, you'll be satisfied. It's a whole experience. It's maybe two a week would be satiating for me. And so that's one of the prasadam that I had. And fortunately, one of the people that I was with there, my uh, Airbnb host, he gave me some coconut prasadam also that was being served there. I'd never got it, and I tasted it also. It was like, my God, amazing. Again,
What
because
that was the exactly.
I wouldn't be able to tell you. If maybe I'll ask the person again if he reminds me, and I'll share with you after. But it was like some coconut sweet that they made from the coconuts that they break. They break a lot of coconuts there in the Baidevi temple, like hundreds a day. And so that has to go to you, so they make the sweet. And I ate the sweet, and they also laced it with something. When I say laced it, I don't know, something that is like a nervous stimulant, maybe coffee or something
Ah,
along those lines. So after I ate this, I knew, yeah, there's no sleeping for me after this. So I couldn't sleep. For Yeah, so be careful of eating it at nighttime. But
um,
very good.
that's interesting. That's
And
interesting.
one more thing I want to add here is that, like I said, they break many coconuts and they put the coconuts out for after you leave the temple, you can pick up the coconuts and you can eat them. And I did that many times, especially when I was hungry, and I thought that was a big treat. Oh my God, this free coconut. Coconut's very valuable and so delicious too. And also, it's been imbibed with the Davies energy. So I just eat coconuts there every day.
That's an interesting experience. Did you go to any different temples while you were staying in Nepal?
Yeah, I think the driver took us to some temple there, but it didn't really interest me. Of course, I went to the Pashupatinath temple. I wasn't allowed inside, but I walked around it and I got to see the place. But the most powerful, the most significant thing outside of the Lingabhadeva temple was the cremation ground in the Pashupatinath temple. I got to witness something that's so powerful, so real, so surreal. Corpses being burned in a cremation. People that have passed away, the family members bring them there, and they have their whole rites and rituals that they do to make the bodies pass away. And it's an energy experience. It made me realize so many things about death and how this process is, and um, yeah, just made use of that energy and cleared up some doubts and confusion that I had within myself. So
Okay,
practice more occult and yeah, made use of that.
okay. So yeah, I guess that's all the questions that I wanted to ask about while you were staying in Nepal. So I need to check how much time we got. Let's see. So yeah, we will continue. And I want to ask you now about your time in Tibet. You were in Tibet, correctly?
Mhm.
So
I'm
yeah,
sorry. Sorry. I couldn't hear what you said. What was the question?
uh, you were in Tibet.
Yes, yes, I was.
Okay. So please, please tell me about it. How that happened and how was the experience? Temples, maybe something else.
Yeah, so the third podcast we'll do here is, of course, about Kailash. So, but now we're talking about the process of
Yeah.
going there. So I knew I was going to Kailash, and I was going with an agency, and we were going through China. So we took a bus there, and immigration had to happen. When I first entered China, I felt very safe, actually, because it's a kind of overprotection that they have. It's quite a wild place. Now looking back at it and looking in hindsight, uh, it's quite going in the wrong direction. But that's neither here nor there. Tibet was very beautiful, extremely like you're in a different world, a different planet, like you're on Mars. The quality of the stones, the quality of the earth and the rocks, unlike anything I've ever seen before. We were driving and I'm seeing the mountains and a very wild, phenomenal place. I've met people from Tibet from all across the world here in Toronto, in the hospitals. Very nice people, very kind and gentle people. They have a different kind of quality about them, different energy. And I got to see a lot of Tibetans there. It's a very rustic place. Not much development is there, but it holds Kailash, and that's the most important thing that's there. So, trying to think more about Tibet. Yeah, very comfortable feeling, very warm, like home feeling, like you're there are lots of cameras there and it feels like your parents want to protect you, make sure that you're safe and don't get into trouble. That's the kind of vibe that I get. So that's what Tibet was like a little bit.
Were you in any temples or sacred places?
No, the only we arrived, we circle around Manasarovar. That was the only kind of spiritual place before Kailash that we visited. And we had an opportunity to go somewhere else, but the option was to either go to this small temple that was somewhere in the area or to go to Kailash early. And of course, there was no
Of
option for
course.
me.
Yeah.
You go to Kailash. So yeah, no temples.
Uh-huh. So Manasarovar is, I guess, one of the most interesting places on earth because it it is the, as Sadhguru said, like the airport to the different kinds of, let's say, beings or just life. So can you please, maybe you had some experience with this, please tell us if you had.
So first and foremost, this is water from Manasarovar.
Oh, interesting.
This holds some very special energy. Very clear. So I got it at the right spot. The bus stopped and I scooped some up. I have some more. Maybe I'll put it up for sale later in the future.
I would
Anyone
buy
that's
it.
interested.
I would buy it.
And yes, as you said, that it's a landing place for, or that lots of life happens there, extraterrestrial life. When I first landed there, meaning we uh, got off the bus. Actually, no, we were driving to the Manasarovar, and we were maybe a few kilometers away, so we were almost at the destination. I saw lakes adjacent to the Manasarovar, maybe a couple of kilometers away. Smaller lakes, not really anything spiritually significant, at least in terms of no one said anything about me to me that they're there, or Sadhguru never talked about it, but they're there before we reached Manasarovar, and I instantly sensed, okay, there's some energy stuff going on there. It's an energy place. It's not just some water. That was before Manasarovar. Then we reached Manasarovar, and it's not obvious. It's very, very subtle, extremely subtle. You really have to calm your mind down. Unlike, going to temples, it's very obvious. It just hits you in the face. You can't hide from it. This is much more subtle than that. So a person would have a difficult time to perceive this unless they have some serious meditation practice and are in a calm state of mind. It's not as obvious. So it took me some time to really focus in and see what's happening and to be perceptive and allow this to happen. It is like you see. people in the airport doing some kind of baggage checks or some luggage or some transportation with items or goods, and they're being busy and doing their own work, and you're kind of looking from far away. What are they doing there? They're doing some kind of shipping or whatever that they're doing, airport work. That's exactly how these beings are. They're non-dimensional, non-physical, I mean, in a different dimension. What dimension, how they are, I have no idea. But they're beings, just like you and I, but totally different. Not like anything, not like any ghosts or anything. They're from somewhere else in the universe, some planet or some energy space. I have no idea. I have no clue. And they're just doing their own stuff. They're doing their own work. They're busy with the water. They're doing something. And after I was leaving, I realized that the water is being fed from Kailash and also the opposite of Kailash, which is the Devi's mountain. I didn't know that it was there, but it is. So the feminine counterpart and the masculine counterpart and all the energy that's there, the water gets melted from the caps of these mountains and it goes into Manasarovar. And that energy, that quality of water, it's unique and special to them. So this is the water that I have left over. I'm gonna put it in a nice container. This is the original plastic container actually that I scooped the water out. So I have maybe half of a
So that's
bottle.
that's also from Manasaro.
That's the same water, but it's in a nicer container, the other one.
Okay, interesting.
So getting back to what I said, as I was leaving, I realized that the quality of the water is what they're interested in. It's the magical masterpiece that it is, and they're making use of it. And of course, they would make use of it. There's no better place on planet Earth. It's like the combining force of these massive powerhouses, energy centers. And they're very curious also in human beings. I could see that they're approaching me. They're trying to do something. It's very difficult to see this. Um, like I had to really focus and really be aware. Usually I can see very easily, okay, there's something happening here. It's not a big deal for me. But this was not like that. So they're distorted in some ways. They don't have the same shape as us. And to some extent they do, but they have multiple limbs and I can't describe it. But they were coming up to me and they were kind of curious and inquisitive. Oh, are we going to do some business together? Are we going to do something? Of course, I want to stay in my body. I want to go to Kailash. I didn't have any interest in them at all in that way, but I was curious to see and perceive. And the bus drove us all the way around. So we did one full rotation around Manasrovar, which just took us an hour. And it became, it started bothering me after a while because it's like it's something so magical, so powerful, so magnificent, but you can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And we're going there and we're spending time there. I just wanted to leave. Well, I didn't want to leave. I wanted to understand it all, which that's not going to be happening. Or I just wanted to go to Kailash, which that was my intense desire. And after Kailash, we went back to Manasarovar, and it was still like, oh, this is why we're here, you know? It's like maybe you're at a clothing store and you see all these nice clothes. Oh my God, I could wear this. It's actually really good clothes and they fit me, but you have no money. It's like, this is a waste of time. Why am I doing this to myself? So that was the experience of Manasarovar in a nutshell.
That's, I don't know. That's sad. That's sad that we can't do anything about it. All right. So yeah, we're heading towards the Kailash itself. Your experience of it. So you're free to speak about the Kailash. The the one and only.
I was under the impression that this is going to be a three-part series. So,
Well, uh, we we didn't have that much
okay,
questions. That much questions. So yeah,
no problem. Yeah, let's just go with the flow and yeah, let's talk
sure.
about Kailash. Whew, where to begin? Kailash is like a massive energy space, a monster, a father, a teacher, a being, a mountain that talks. I was laying in bed last night and my head was facing the south face of Kailash, and I was talking to the mountain like I would talk to my father with the same authority that this mountain has. And My mind was interpreting my changes in my mind as this mountain speaking to me. This is gonna it's too far out there, but that's just how it is. This mountain is too far out, and things became very clear to me that I would give my life for this mountain. Actually, I wouldn't say that because before I would say, "Oh, I'd give my life to this" or "I'd give my life to that," but there I realized this my life is the most important thing. But for sure, this is the most valuable thing in my life is Kailash. And from that moment on, I made it my goal and my dream, my desire to completely engulf myself with this energy. This is the source of my life. This is the home, this is my foundation, this is the source of my food, this is the source of everything. And because of its power, I know that it's going to be immensely beneficial for me if I do this. And I did this. So I walked up to Kailash, I climbed up all the way to the north face. I got to touch this energy. I didn't go actually physically touch it, but I reached enough to the point where energetically I was right in front of the massive energy that it holds. And I thought to myself and I said, enough, I can't go any farther than this. I reached the goal. And Kailash hasn't left me, it's still here. This energy hasn't gone away from me, it's becoming more, engulfing myself more and more into this. It is something that I still haven't processed fully. I don't think I might ever will. I've taken the best picture of Kailash, probably that I've ever seen, maybe that anyone has ever seen in their lives. I'm fortunate to say and claim such a thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I would love to see some. I would love to see why I'm wrong, or maybe being wrong is not the right word, but I was trekking Kailash, and I remember I stopped at a certain point, right in the center. It felt like I was being pulled by a magnet to the floor, and I knew this is the right place to take a perfect angle from Kailash. I was right at the point where a photographer stands to take a picture of a family, just in the perfect spot, in the center. That's exactly what I felt I did, and I took a photo with my high-resolution camera. And as I look back from that photo, on that photo, the entire Kailash's energy is encompassed in that photo. That's why I say it's one of the best, or the best. Because the pictures that I have of Kailash, like maybe I can show you this one, if I can reach it.
If not, I will show it.
Yes. If you have a picture of, yeah.
I will show it on the edit.
I have a picture. I'm reaching for Sadhguru's picture that I've kind of had in this wall, but it's not gettable. Anyways, the photos of other people like Sadhguru with Kailash, it's nice aesthetically. It's very pleasing, but it doesn't encompass the energy. So this picture encompasses the energy very well. You can see what this place is, what the energy that it holds. It has everything. This photo has everything. The entire massiveness of this mountain. And I circle around this mountain. It took me 3 days. A very long trek, something like 50 kilometers. Food wasn't great. Very kind of cooked food, a lot of cooked food, which it's good for 1 or 2 days, but living off of this it doesn't make your body feel very happy. And yeah, the most remarkable, the most transformative place that you have ever seen in your life. And I hope that you get to see this. I hope that you get to see this one day. I hope that you get to go. And for sure, mark my words, my friends, I'll be taking people there sometime in the future. I want to make this my life's goal and my life's mission, that I want to work for this mountain and I want to provide service for this place and change the lives of millions of people. And this mountain has the capability of doing that.
I know that one bird sat on your head. Did something like that also happen there? Some remarkable little events.
Yes, I talked about this on my YouTube channel. The title of the video is My Mystical Experience in Kailash. When I walked up to Kailash the first time, you walk through the valley or the path outside, and then there's a long trek up that you have to climb. It takes about an hour and a half, or maybe 2 hours if you're slow. That reaches the actual face of Kailash, which you can see it. So the picture that Sadhguru has of Kailash, it's him far away. You have to trek a lot, very high to get to the actual mountain and touch it. So I walked up there, and the first thing that I saw, I looked up and looked into the mountain. It morphed. It's a powerful energy space, so my mind did this, or it did this. I don't really know whichever way, but it benefited me nonetheless. It changed like a graphics on a computer would change, or maybe a smart board would change. It just morphed into whatever I needed to see in a very high resolution way. And I saw a picture of Sadhguru Sri Brahma in the mountain. You know, usually when your mind makes images onto objects, it's like it just has to be good enough. Oh, okay, I kind of see this like a face. Oh, that's kind of very close. Some AI technology has this ability that they make faces that it looks like there's three people, but it's actually the face of Jesus. That's nice. This wasn't like that. Or this was the most high resolution mind imprinting onto an object that has ever happened to me. It was like that. Mountain chiseled a picture of Sadhguru Sri Brahma into the mountain itself. The perfect physical features, the hairline, everything. I knew it was this man. And then I waited for some time, and then the mountain, the Kailash, appeared right behind him. There was a small kind of picture. Maybe one day I'll make this picture. Sadhguru Sri Brahma, and behind him was Mountain Kailash. He was being empowered by that, and all the things that Sadhguru Sri Brahma did, and still doing, is as a result of Kailash. So this gave me the faith and confidence to fully put my life on the line on this mountain, in front of this mountain, and to be exactly the same way as Sadhguru Sri Brahma is, and Sadhguru is today. And that's the intentions that I hold for myself. That's the intention that I have and want. And I was blown away. I knew I'd witnessed something powerful. This was a spiritual experience that I had. Was it my mind creating things, or was this it felt like Kailash pushed this out of the mountain for me to see this. That's how it felt. So I was very grateful and blessed to have seen that. That was the most powerful experience that I've had there.
Wow, that's just that's just unbelievable. So one more, or yeah, I guess one more question that I wanted to ask you is, how did your life, or the your perception of life, or experiencing of life, or life experience changed after perceiving the Kailash?
Yeah, very big question. Very important question. So first, I just want to mention that while I was trekking, it's not a simple, not an easy place to go to. I I felt like I was getting close to passing away. And that especially going up into the mountain, very high altitude, very difficult to breathe. And at one point in time, at one night, the first night that we arrived there, I was sleeping. My heart was beating so fast. It wasn't like I was out of breath or something. It was just the high altitude. My body wasn't pumping enough oxygen, and it was working overtime. Even though I was stationary, I had been stationary for maybe 20 minutes. I wasn't moving at all, and I was feeling my heartbeat, and it was beating extremely fast. I thought, oh my God, maybe I'll have to turn back or this or that, the other thing. But I learned to calm my breathing down. It took a while, my heart to relax, and I went to sleep. Thankfully, I didn't have to turn around. That would be a tragedy.
Yeah.
But how did my life change? How did I progress? I was in South India. I visited the Kailash of the South. That place is remarkable. Shiva also stayed up there and energized that whole mountain. That's a life transforming place. But compared to Kailash, it is like riding a bicycle versus riding a car at full speed. You're both transporting, it's both, getting you to the destination. You're both going fast, but it's just a different level of fast. So Kailash is like, you've been sipping water and now someone tossed you in the ocean. It's that big of a difference. It's the energy is just overpowering. It's amazing. It's sheer raw awesomeness, raw power. What it feels like, what it felt like is, I've been struggling to live life and whatever, doing these spiritual things, and someone tossed me in the ocean, and now somehow miraculously the wave, the wave's intelligence and the ocean's intelligence is pushing me wherever it wants me to go, or wherever I want to go, or what, I don't know. That's how I feel. So my life is out of my hands, so to speak. My life is in something much bigger, and I know I'll be taken care of. In fact, anytime that I have some difficulty or some challenge, not difficult, I don't have any difficulties, but some challenge or some maybe concern, whatever I have, I just remind myself that this has happened to me. And not only remind myself, but I go there energetically. It's still a presence within me. I'm still there. It's so strongly. My psyche has been imprinted with this, impressed by this so heavily, so much, so massively that it just is not going away. It hasn't gone away, and I hope it does. Never goes away. So it's permanently in me. And I live life pretty much effortlessly. And so many benefits I've received and still coming my way as a result of that. Some business things that I have planned, that I've set in motion that are soon to arise, you'll get to see that and witness that, are directly as a result of this. I didn't really have to do much. It just kind of all aligned because kind of did the work and now I'm getting paid for it. I'm benefiting off it, so to speak. So no greater benefit in the entire spiritual game that I've done that's more rewarding than this. It's the most beneficial thing that I've ever done. Maybe the most important and most beneficial thing that anyone can ever do, period.
All right. That's just incredible. That's just amazing. I don't have any words for this. It's something to be experienced only. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much all the things I wanted to ask you. Thank you very much for sharing your experience. That's really important for everyone to hear. For all the seekers of the truth, L and inner well-being. So uh, you can say your final words, and we will finish.
I have a lot more to speak about this as the time and the years progress. Much more has to be unpacked and discovered. This is just this. I'm reaching the tip of the surface of this. And yeah, thank you, Alex, for reaching out to me and asking me these questions and uncovering these things. I hope to do this again sometime soon. And yeah, subscribe. Uh, Hope people subscribe to your channel, Shambho 114. What else to say? Go to
Subscribe.
Kailash.
So, yeah, go to Kailash, and of course subscribe to Shiva Kailash Shambho, because he is a wise guy. You need to subscribe and listen to him.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for watching. Shiva Shambho.
Shiva Shambho.